Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm gonna be giving you part 18 of What If Naruto push himself to his limit. Remember to get this one to 300 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in social media platform. And also, stay in tune because I'm gonna be posting a new episode of What If Naruto was born in the Uzumaki clan. And I'm also going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto was the Sasuke King. So stay tuned for that as well, guys. And I do hope that you guys enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all for helping and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. So without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last part we left off, as Naruto and his group headed off to Take, Kisame was taking on Shibuki and all of his soldiers, as neither of them was a match for Kisame, as he was slaughtering the company. Shibuki found himself outclassed. His water style was nothing against Kisame's own, as Kisame was about to slash him down, when Sai and Kakashi appear, as Naruto already gave them orders, with Itachi. Even though the girl surprised him by her monstrous strength, as she was stronger than he thought, and with those bugs affecting him badly, and he couldn't use the Amaterasu because he didn't want to kill her. But he still defeated her, as he was Itachi after all. As Fu was subdued and on the ground, but Naruto arrived and stopped him from taking her, as the both of them started to duke it out. As Itachi was surprised to see how strong Naruto's gotten. It seems that they farly underestimated Naruto. He was on a totally different level. Both of them clashing all around, as Naruto knew that Itachi was pushing himself, seeing that he was getting extremely tired, and also he fought Fu before he got here. And even if he hadn't fought Fu, Naruto had more chakra than by a long shot. As Itachi was getting really tired and hyperventilating, as Naruto was about to finish him off. As he jumped away, he decided to retreat for now, seeing that they have no chance of getting her now, with Naruto and company here as he went to get Kisame. As they left, Pain was upset, as he was beyond pissed. Yet again, the nine-tailed Jinchuriki stopped him from capturing another Jinchuriki, as he wanted to take him out of the equation and handle him himself, as Konoha was there. She watched the entire thing. After that, when Shibuki and Fu got back, as Naruto convinced them to make him bring her back to Konoha, as if she believed that she was going to be safe, and that Shibuki won't die because they would come here and attack the village once more. She agreed to go back with him. So with that, they headed back to Konoha. Meanwhile, UJ was on a mission, as they were supposed to get intel from one of the spies from Orochimaru the Hidden Sound, but it was an ambush, as he got caught off guard. She told her man to go one of them as she took on the force, but he was too strong, as the man beat the crap out of her, slamming her into a tree. Before she passed out though, she saw a man with glasses and silver hair looking down at her, as she collapsed unconscious. Back at Konoha, Fu was walking around the village as no one was looking at her with those hateful eyes, like Ataki, as she really loved this place. As she found herself in the forest, Shino then appeared, as he told that this was a clan, Aburame Forest, as she apologized she didn't know. See that she was an outsider. He told her it wasn't a big deal. As Shino was shocked, he never saw another person from outside his clan be interested in bugs, as he liked that very much. As Naruto was at the Hokage's tower, he got the report, as Shizune told him that Team Nico got ambushed and only one person made it back. As Naruto's eyes went wide, knowing that Yugito was on that team. So yeah guys, that was basically last where we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So what do you say we begin this new episode? Yugito slowly opened her eyes. The first thing she realized is she was in intense pain as she nearly screamed on top of her lungs. But she bite back the pain. She then realized she was strapped to a table. Her arms were bound on either side, the bindings strapped very tightly as she felt like she was being stretched. Her legs were tied down in a spread eagle form, feeling the same way as her arms. As she looked down to see that she was completely naked, nothing covering herself, as she felt violated and exposed. As the door then opened, two figures stepped in. The first one she instantly recognized, Orochimaru. The other person was around mid-height with silver hair and round glasses. She has never seen him before, but she has gotten a general description of this man. He was Kabuto. This was Kabuto, the man that Hayate went to spy on before he was killed. "You!" she snarled at him as she started to struggle against her restraints. "Oh my," Orochimaru said in an amused voice. "It seems like she knows you from somewhere, Kabuto-kun." "Well, I don't think I ever met her before in my life," said Kabuto as he pushed up his glasses. "You're the reason Hayate is dead," she yelled at him as he struggled some more, but she couldn't break free. "Hayate?" It then snapped to him. "Oh, now I remember him. He was a proctor when we had the invasion for the preliminaries, right? He was the one who was spying on me and the ally at the time. From what I heard, he was quite skilled with that sword. He even gave the ninja who killed him some trouble. But that did not save him in the end, did it?" "Shut up," said Yugito, as she wanted to snap this man's neck. "You're the entire reason why he died. I'm going to kill you," she said. "She seemed quite violent," said Orochimaru. "Do you think you'll be alright alone with her, Kabuto-kun?" "Of course, Orochimaru-sama," said Kabuto as he pushed his glasses up. "Just leave everything to me." "Very well. I need to check on Sasuke anyway. I believe he wants some more training." As Orochimaru left, Kabuto turned back around. Now, there isn't much need for so much violence. As he placed a scroll on the table and unrolled it. As he unsealed the contents, as it was medical scalpels and a jar with an odd stone flowing in it in a green liquid. Kabuto grabbed one of the scalpels. "You know, if you continue to struggle, this is gonna hurt even more." "Screw you," she said as she spit right in his face. Kabuto says he took off his glasses as he wiped the spit away. "Now that wasn't very nice. I thought you leave ninjas to have more manners." "Oh well," he said, as he brought the scalpel down, as he sliced right into her stomach. As Yugito cried out, her screams echoing through the base. At Konoha, Naruto was instantly in front of Tsunade. "Tsunade-sama, I'm going to form a rescue squad to see if there is any other survivor that Orochimaru managed to capture and rescue them," Naruto said. "Your request is denied, Naruto," said Tsunade, as Naruto narrowed his eyes. "We don't have enough information to mount a rescue operation. Even if we do, we're dealing with Orochimaru here. Chances are Nico is dead or worse." As she knew why he wanted to go. As Nico, well, Yugito, aka Nico. She was Naruto's bodyguard a year before he entered the academy. She has spent time with the boy outside of her duties, even going so far to let him know her identity as Nico, as her Anbu name. Something if the third wasn't lenient about because of Naruto would have caused her career if you told anyone else, but it was just because of him. As the next thing Naruto said shocked Tsunade. "I wasn't asking, Hokage-sama. I am going, whether or not you permit it. Either I go alone or you send me with a squad." As everything that was happening stopped, as Shizune, who was listening, was shocked. As Tsunade turned her full attention towards Naruto, leaking a bit of killing intent. "Takabitsu Jonin, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, I am giving you direct orders not to attempt to go after Orochimaru or try to rescue the lost squad. It's a lost cause and I won't have you doing something foolish." "Well then, Hokage-sama, you can respectfully shove your goddamn orders up your ass. I am going. And if you or anyone else try to stop me, I won't hesitate to fight back." Tsunade was stunned at that, as Naruto spun around and started to walk away. "You will be willing to risk becoming a missing name for one person who you haven't seen since you were 5. You barely even know her, And what about your dream to become Hokage? If you do this, Tsunade was interrupted as Naruto turned to look at her with a hard stare. I know her well enough, Hokage-sama. After all she did for me, I won't let one of my precious people die until I see her body for myself. Besides, what kind of Hokage would I be if I let someone who I consider family die? As he went through the door, leaving a stunned Tsunade. Damn it, she cursed. Shizune! As Shizune came around, yes, Tsunade-sama? Get me Kiba Inuzaka, Hinata Hyuga, Sakura Haruno, and Sai. Tell them to be in my office within 5 minutes. Yes, Tsunade-sama, said Shizune as she ran off. Tsunade sighed to herself. He would be in so much trouble when he get back. But if she tried to detain him now, he would fight them. And if she know for one thing, if he is this determined, he will go through it. Moments later, Naruto head towards the North Gate. As he ran over the information he got from Shizune, as she and her team, they were 10 miles out of the hidden zone. As Yugito decided to stay back and buy her comrade time to escape. As he reached the gate, he heard a voice call out behind him, Naruto! As he turned to see Hinata, Kiba, and Sakura and Sai running towards him. Are you guys here to stop me? Naruto asked. No, Hokage-sama has asked us to go with you, Sakura said, as she put her hands on her knees to catch her breath. That's right, man, said Kiba as he got off Akamaru's back. We're going to help you with your mission. We are supposed to make sure you don't get over your head, Dickless, said Sai with a fake smile. As Naruto was taken aback, he thought that she would try to detain him, but instead she sent people to help him. But it doesn't matter now. We're going towards the hidden zone to try and find if any survivors on the Ondu team is still alive, and if so, we're to help them. And keep up, Naruto said. We have to make it fast. As Naruto blurred away, as all of them had to try to keep up with him. God damn it, he's fast, said Kiba, as it took a couple of hours. As the sun was going down, Naruto turned to see his team. They were lagging more and more behind him. He should have gone by himself. As he sighed and stopped, the zone was farther than Take. They could not get there before the night, and they would be exhausted if they pushed themselves that hard. We will set up camp here, Naruto said. Kiba, I heard that stream up north. I want you to see if you can go and catch some fish. Hinata, I want you and Sakura to set up camp. Sai, I want you to scout the area. Meanwhile, I'll set up traps around our perimeter. As they nodded and went it off, as Naruto created clones to set up the traps and sensor seals. As Kiba got some fish and Naruto cooked it for all of them. But Naruto was extremely quiet as they didn't know what to say to him. As Hinata looked over, are you okay, Naruto-kun? Her voice was no longer soft, but she no longer stuttered since her talk with Naruto. Oh yeah, I'm fine, Naruto said. You know you're a terrible liar, right? Said Sakura. What's bothering you? Naruto sighed. I know the captain of the team that was ambushed. When I was younger, she was one of the few people who ever showed me kindness and treated me like a human. Despite how long ago it happened, I never forgot what she did for me and how much it meant. Now she's in trouble, and I'm afraid we won't get there in time. Sakura, Kiba, and Hinata were silent as he spoke. They had not truly realized how hard his life was until the announcement that he was a Jinchuriki. They had seen how he was hated, but they never knew why. Now they realized it because his father sealed the betrayal inside of him. As all three of them realized they have only seen the surface of how bad Naruto really had it, they never see fully indeed. As they realized why, he wanted to save this woman. She was one of the few people who was there for him when he was younger, when he was all alone. As Sai was also silent. Is this what it means to have a bond with someone, he thought? To be willing to go this far for one person, even try to disobey the Hokage's orders. Is this what makes him the way he is, Sai wondered. Naruto sighed as he stood up. I'll take the first watch, Kiba you the second, and Sai you do the third. We will take watch in Involt. Understood. As the both of them nodded. As Naruto looked up at the dark sky as he hoped that she was alright. The next day they finally came upon the clearing, as they could see that it was a battle site, given the burned area. As Naruto ordered him to spread out and search for clues that could find her. Judging from the number of footprints, there were 6 of them. They stopped right here, Naruto said, as he scanned the area. As he saw a few kunais and burned ground, they scattered. 4 of them were picked off one by one. As he saw footprints that were a bit harder indented into the ground, 2 of them survived and jumped off. As he continued to follow the prince, as he saw a branch that was taken out by an explosive tag. As he jumped down to see two sets of prints. This is where she made her stance, Naruto said, as he looked to see a footprint that was scuffled on the ground. She was knocked back into the tree as Naruto saw the tree was smashed into, as the splinters were everywhere. But there is no burn mark from a fire juice like the others. She was taken, not killed. As Naruto looked around, he then saw a glint of white and red. As he looked down and picked up a piece, it was her mask. A piece of her mask. Kiba, I need you and Akamaru to track the scent from this, Naruto says he held the mask piece. As Kiba took it, as the both of them sniffed it to get the scent. After a while, Akamaru barked. He found it, it's weak, but we should be able to follow it, said Kiba. As they took off into the trees, as a group followed behind them. As Naruto noticed they crossed the borders, they were now in the land of rice, where the hidden sound was. Kiba then stopped and raised his hand. As he and Akamaru smelled the ground, the scent, it stopped right here. As Naruto closed his eyes, the scent stopped here. We knew that they didn't use any kind of scent killer. Or, did they be that careless, thinking that Konoha wouldn't send anyone? Or are they leading us into a trap? I doubt Orochimaru set a trap. If he know that anyone won't probably come. So I bet it's the former, Naruto said. Since the scent stopped here, that means the entrance to wherever she was taken is somewhere around here. Several clones poofed into existence. As Naruto took a look at his friends who seemed confused. If the scent ain't here, that means wherever the entrance is, it's somewhere around here where she was taken. I suggest you force spread out and start searching as well, Naruto said, as he followed his own advice and started to search as well. While searching, the memory of a clone hit him. As he ran over to see there was a door, it was covered by dirt and leaf. There were seals on it that would activate if you forced it open. One that would alert anyone that was inside, and one that would blow up and take out the person that was forcefully trying to open it. Naruto unsealed his sealing brush as he started to place seals over the ones that were already there, as he then channeled his chakra into it. There was a slight hissing noise as the seals started to dissolve, as the door was now completely clean of them. As Naruto motioned for the others to come over. Okay, from this point on, I want you 5 to use a standard Anbu hand sign to communicate. There will be no talking unless absolutely needed. We are officially in enemy territory. Due to my speed and reflexes, I'll be in front. Kiba and Akamaru, you will be after me. Sakura, since you're a main healer, I want you to come next. Sai will be coming after you to cover you. And Hinata, you will be in the rear and use your Byakugan to scout the area. As Naruto lifted the door to show a ladder, as it went straight down into sound base. As they went down there, Naruto scanned the entire area, placing his hand on the ground, sending chakra through the area. As they went through the left hall first, each time they came up to a door, Naruto placed a hand on it, slowly channeling chakra. 4 people, made tuning level. Yugito was not inside. This continued for nearly 30 minutes. As they went from door to door, there was only one mishap. One of the sound ninjas came out, and Naruto just silenced him along with his 3 other friends. They ended up finding nothing in the first quarter, as they went to the second one, doing the same thing over again. As they found nothing as they went to the last quarter, as Naruto led his team downstairs. The first thing Naruto could see was that this place was used for prisoners and experiments. The place reeked of death and decay. Walking along the cells, Naruto noticed people who looked to be half dead. Some of them are already dead, but they have been removed. As Naruto quickly pushed his emotion to the side, as seeing these people, it just made him hate and resent Orochimaru even more. As they came upon the last door, as Naruto channeled chakra to his ear. As he placed his hand down first, he could sense there was 2 Chunins and 1 Jonin. He could hear someone as they were breathing. Their breathing shallow. It was like they were injured. Closing his eyes, he then nodded to himself as he turned to his team and gave them hand signs. As they all nodded, he then grabbed the handle and pushed open the door. His eyes quickly scanned the area. Strapped to the table was a naked Yugito. There were numerous cuts and stitches all over her body, whereas Naruto could see some odd protrusions like bubbles coming out of her skin. However, it was the look in her eyes. Her body has went through intense trauma. As Naruto moved off, no Hiroshin, no Shunshin, just a burst of speed appearing in front of the 2 Chunins. As Naruto drive a kunai straight through the man's jaw, pushing it up, bursting through his head. The other punched after him, but he flashed away and appeared behind the man. As he grabbed the man's head with his hands and snapped his neck. As Naruto caught the bodies before they could jump and created noise, he wrestled them down as he went over and unstrapped the bindings. As Naruto quickly created a clone that transformed into a cloak as he used to wrap around her. Sakura, he called, as he felt the need not to be quiet anymore in this emergency. Yugito, he said. But he got no response. Yugito, he said, but still nothing. As he placed his hand on her face, but nothing, he got no response. Instead of a flicker of her eyes, nothing else. Sakura started to run a scan over her. She has major damage to her vitals, said Sakura. Numerous fractures and internal bleeding. She also has several odd-looking bumps on her, Naruto said, as he moved the cloak a bit. Can you figure out what they are? Hinata activated her Byakugan. They're not a part of her, she said. They have a different chakra system. They're eggs, Sakura said. These things are carrying something, some kind of animal or insect, Naruto said. As he remembered the lesson on parasitic insects, similar to the Aburame clan, except these were more deadly. We need to get out of here, he said. As another shadow clone poofed beside him as he gave the clone her. As they started to move through the prison as fast as they could. As soon as they entered the branching quarters, Naruto's senses went on high alert. Get back! As all of them leaped away, as the roof was completely obliterated, and the path that they were just standing, allowing the sunlight to wash down on them. It's been a while, dope, said a voice. Hinata, Sakura, Sai, and Kiba looked up as they were shocked. Sasuke was wearing a white shirt, and the chest was open. He had a purple bando wrapped around his waist, with his blade right in the side. He had on black pants with a blue-grey cloth. Naruto could tell that the boy has gotten stronger, but he could see that the boy has gotten even more arrogant. Sasuke, Naruto said. As Naruto thought about this for a long time, he had played out many scenarios in his mind. What would he do when the both of them meet again? What will he do? What will he say? For the longest time he was looking forward to this. Either to convince him to come back, or to kill him if he refused. However, all of that now was a moot point, as he looked at Yugito to see that she needed help, as he didn't have time to deal with the prick. Well, isn't this a lovely reunion? As Naruto turned his head to see Orochimaru and Kabuto with a smirk on their face. I see that you've grown, Naruto-kun, said Orochimaru. You know, words of your accomplishments have reached even me. They pushed my Sasuke here to train harder, so he could kill you. As Naruto remained quiet, he then spoke. Sakura, Hinata, Kiba, I want you three to go off with Yugito and my clone, and get to Konoha. I will catch up with you, but if I don't get there before you get there, I want you to quickly rush to Snally and tell her about Yugito, and see if she can help. Sai, I want you to take on Kabuto. He's the weakest of the three, but he is said to be on par with Kakashi, so be careful. As Naruto noticed that Sakura was about to protest, but he spoke before she could. Do not argue with me, Sakura. We do not have the time to debate this. As Sakura, Sai, alright fine, but be careful and I'll do what I can, Naruto said, cutting her off. As he knew what she wanted. I can't make any promises though. As Sakura nodded, as she and the others took off. Kabuto, if you will, said Orochimaru. Of course, Orochimaru-sama. As he took off to follow them, but he was cut off by Sai. I apologize, Sai said with a fake smile, but I have orders to not let you pass. Well then, I suppose I'll have to just go through you, said Kabuto. Sai gave a smile as he finished, joining his scroll. Several large ink lions burst out of the scroll as Kabuto was forced to dodge. As Sai kept up the pressure, taking Kabuto into a different space. Back with Naruto. Dope, Sasuke said, as his Sharingan spin. He has been waiting for the chance to battle him again. This time he will kill him. As Naruto's eyes switched from Orochimaru to Sasuke, he then looked back at Sasuke. I'm going to give you one more chance to come back to Konoha, Sasuke. Sasuke smirked. Is that so? What makes you think I'll come back to that weak village and give up my power for those fools? Are you going to make me come back? Don't make me laugh, you're still a dope, and you cannot match the power for Uchiha. Is that so, Naruto said. You know, Itachi never think that when I kick his ass and force him to retreat. Sasuke's eyes widened. You fought Itachi? When? I'm not going to tell you that. I told myself I would give you one more chance to return to Konoha. And if you don't, I'll kill you myself. Sasuke looked at him with wide eyes for a moment before laughing. You think you can beat me? Nothing, Sasuke. I know I can beat you. You probably don't remember. Or, your brain is trying to repress that thought. But in our last battle, I let you win. I tilted my Rasengan so, instead of taking off your head, it merely scratched your headband. Do you remember? Sasuke clenched his fists. How could he forget? Flashback. Sasuke, Naruto screamed as he charged up a demonic Rasengan, the Kaiba chakra fluctuating through it. Naruto! Sasuke screamed as his Shidori was shocking brightly with a dark color as he was in his level 2 curse mark state. The two shot off the ground and clashed at each other, their jutsu creating a dark ball that engulfed them. However, Sasuke was shocked when Naruto brought up another Rasengan. He was aiming at his head, but then Naruto last second turned his hand and hit Sasuke's headband, just to prove that he could. End of the flashback. That was the sole reason Sasuke didn't kill him that day, because Naruto could have killed him but didn't. He had let Naruto survive when he was lying on the ground, so when they fought again, no one could deny that he killed him at his full power. I see that you do remember. As much as I would like to reminisce about me kicking her ass, I have a friend who needs me. As Naruto took off his cloak and threw it away, as it hit the ground a loud bang and created a crater. As Naruto started channeling chakra into the seals located all over his body. Release! As Naruto released a slow breath, feeling the gravity and research on seals release him. As he went down into his taijutsu stance, he knew that he would have to fight with his all the moment this started. Both of them would likely underestimate him because of his arrogance and believe that his clan was better than everyone else. This will give Naruto enough of an advantage to kill one of them or force him to retreat. Let's make this quick, shall we, Naruto said as he pointed a finger at Sasuke. Bikarai. Both Orochimaru and Sasuke eyes wide as they jumped out of the way as a large bolt of lightning kept on going. But out of nowhere the lightning spun around and came right towards Orochimaru. He quickly substituted. Sasuke was caught completely off guard and Naruto flashed in front of him and smashed a foot in his chest that sent him flying back. He flipped several times as he landed gracefully. He then had to quickly dodge a wind blade that nearly took off his head. He quickly flipped through hand sign. Shidori Senbon, he said. Naruto took in a deep breath. Wind style, they topper, he said, as he released a massive gust of wind that blew away all of Sasuke's Senbons. Naruto quickly unsealed his blade as he spun around and blocked a strike from Orochimaru's Kusanagi blade. As Naruto raised the blade above him, but then he released his hold, as Orochimaru's blade was coming down at full force to slice him right in half. But Naruto pushed off with pure speed as he flashed behind Orochimaru and drove his sword right through him. But Orochimaru turned into mud as he came out of the ground behind Naruto, driving his blade straight towards Naruto's stomach. As Naruto blocked it, Sasuke flashed in front of him and punched him right in the face, knocking him back. The moment he flipped and landed, Orochimaru attacked him once more, but Naruto blocked the blade and drove his foot right into Orochimaru's stomach. Orochimaru doubled over as Naruto sliced him in half once more. He cursed as Orochimaru turned to mud once more, as Orochimaru emerged on the ground once more, as he drove the Kusanagi right through Naruto's chest. But instead of bleed, Naruto exploded right in his face. But Orochimaru was used for any attack to come as he switched himself right before it exploded with a mud clone. Naruto then heard chirping sounds as he turned to see Sasuke with a curse mark all over him, his hand completely destroying the ground beneath him, the Chidori dancing dangerously. Naruto held out his hand and charged a Rasengan, but unlike normal one, this was pure white as he added wind chakra to it. As the both of them leaped at each other, Rasengan Chidori, as they smashed their attack into each other. Sasuke's eyes instantly went wide, seeing that Naruto's Rasengan was on par with the Chidori already. But now that he had an element, it tore right through Sasuke's Chidori, as Sasuke was blown away several feet, clutching his messed up hand. Luckily, his Chidori kind of nullified the Rasengan effects, because he would have lost his entire hand if that had hit him fully. As Naruto had no time to do anything as he had to dodge several sword swipes from Orochimaru as they came in fast and quick and precise. Orochimaru managed to cut him several times though, as Orochimaru was moving at an unnatural rate and an unnatural fighting style. It was just because of Naruto adapting to things with speed because of the higher shin, and he could see things that were much more faster that he avoid any vital area. As he could feel the poison trying to go into his body, but the fox quickly burned it away. Seeing that this was taking too long, Naruto started to channel like Kyuubi's chakra straight into his muscles. As Orochimaru was surprised that Naruto hadn't dropped from his strongest poison, or that he could match his speed and his strength. As Naruto sliced Orochimaru's arms off, but several snakes burst out of his sleeve, reattaching his arms. While he was doing that, Naruto smashed a feet right into his face, sending Orochimaru rocketing back. Sasuke leaped at Naruto's blade, lightning chakra covering it. Naruto spun around his own blade, wind chakra coursing in it, as he clashed blade with Sasuke. Sasuke was sent flying back because of the force, as he still couldn't believe how strong Naruto has gotten. Sasuke was surprised at Naruto flashed in front of him. He had to roll out of the way, as Naruto's blade sliced right down, destroying a large rock formation behind him. But Sasuke could not dodge a kick that was planted in his face, as he smashed right into a wall. Naruto then twisted his body as the Kusanagi blade passed him. He then brought down his own blade, knocking down the Kusanagi blade, as he spin and drive his blade right through Orochimaru's chest. As Naruto pumped his wind chakra, Orochimaru quickly opened his mouth as he slithered out of it, a new one, perfectly fine, as the recent body was destroyed completely by Naruto wind blades sliced into pieces. Naruto leaped up in the air and swinged his sword as a burst of lightning came out. Orochimaru quickly used a substitution and the pulse destroyed everything on the ground. Resealing his sword, Naruto speed through hand signs. He saw Sasuke charging back over to him. Lightning release, beam, Naruto said, as he spread his hands in front of him. A bright white beam shot out of them. It was only because of his Sharingan that he saw it, but he couldn't dodge it in time. He quickly substituted as he landed beside Orochimaru. The both of them looked at each other, as they realized they will have to fight together or they might even lose, as the both of them dashed towards him. But Naruto just waited for time to be right as he leaped up. As Sasuke went over his head, Orochimaru went under him, as Naruto twisted his body and smashed his foot on top of Orochimaru's head, knocking him down to the ground, as he smashed his fist right into Sasuke's face, knocking him up. The both of them did a brutal crash because Naruto infused his body with wind chakra, as Naruto leaped away and quickly speed through hand signs. Dragon Barrage Jutsu, he said. Water emerged as they took the shapes of several thousand tiny dragons, as all of them got frozen. As the dragons stormed towards Sasuke and Orochimaru, the two of them forced and dodged the barrage of ice dragons. They soon realized though just dodging wouldn't help, as once the dragon passed him, they swooped back around trying to attack them behind. What the hell is this? Sasuke mentally screamed to himself. How does the dope know Hayaton Jutsu? As Sasuke was pissed how this fight was turned out so far. This was not how this was supposed to happen. He was supposed to meet Naruto and show him how much better he was than him, and then kill him to get the Mangekyo Sharingan. Now he was forced to dodge tiny little dragons that, if he didn't evade, could very well kill him. On top of that, his Sharingan was completely useless. When Naruto do hand signs, he couldn't see Naruto movement to the way he set his body, or some of the jutsus just require one hand sign, as he couldn't copy some of them. He cursed. Getting frustrated, Sasuke went through several hand signs while dodging the dragons. 1000 bird, current, he said, as a wave of electricity burst out of Sasuke, destroying the dragons. Likewise, Orochimaru managed to destroy them with the Kusanagi blade. But they didn't get a chance as Naruto flashed in front of them, smashing his fist in their face. They were sent sailing back, as a kunai landed behind them, as Naruto flashed straight towards it, knocking them up in the air. As they saw the same kunai in mid-air, as Naruto came down his Rasengan, smashing it into both of their guts. Luckily, Orochimaru was able to shed his skin rather quickly. However, Sasuke had no such abilities as he let out a scream as the ball tore into his stomach. As he smashed hard, he slowly opened his eyes, seeing Naruto above him as blood started to pour out of his mouth as he was coughing violently. As Sasuke couldn't believe this, Sasuke Uchiha that was trained by the Sannin Orochimaru, was going to be defeated by the class clone, the loser, the dope. But Naruto quickly had to tilt his head from the Kusanagi blade that nearly took off his head completely. As Orochimaru flashed near and sent out several snakes towards him, Naruto sliced them up, but while he was doing it, a snake wrapped around Sasuke's stomach and pulled him away. As Orochimaru jumped back with Sasuke, as Sasuke was out for the count, unconscious. Orochimaru just looked at Naruto. "You have been a thorn in my side, boy. But rest assured, once I take possession of Sasuke's body over here, I will kill you." As Orochimaru started to melt down into the ground, as he vanished with Sasuke. As Naruto couldn't sense them anymore, feeling himself a bit depleted, Naruto sent the Kyuubi's chakra into his system, refreshing himself. Dickless, he heard. Naruto cursed as he turned to Sai, as he was slightly worse for wear, but he was fine. "Did you get Kabuto?" Naruto said. "Want to hear some good news?" Sai shook his head. "No, I was unable to do that since he retreated 15 minutes ago." "Let's go then, we need to catch up with the others," Naruto said, as he shot off. Some time later they finally catch up with them. As Naruto landed, he said, "We did not get into any trouble. It seems that the Stone Ninjas have left," she said. "Did you?" she asked. "No," Naruto said. "Sasuke managed to get away. But I managed to injure him pretty badly, so he won't be able to do anything for a while." As Naruto moved towards his clone and took Yugito from the clone. As he looked down to see that she was sweating, "Have you noticed any change in her condition?" "Not that I can see. The eggs have not hatched, so we're in the clear for now." "I'll kill them for sure next time," he thought. The group continued their travel until the sun started to go down. Because of his fight and the Kyuubi's chakra keep on pumping through his system, Naruto eventually got exhausted as he had to turn in for the night, as Hinata, Sakura and Sai took the watch. As he lay Yugito down in the sleeping bag, watching her until he fell asleep. The next morning, Naruto heard a scream that snapped him awake as he unsealed his blade as quickly as possible. But he looked to see the scream was coming from Yugito, as the others got up as well. "Sakura," he said, "take a look at her, do a medical scan. Do whatever it takes to ease her pain. Hinata, I need you to help her as well." As Naruto handed her over to them as he bit his thumb. "Summoning jutsu," he said, as a summoning seal spread out all across the ground. He and the others were lifted up off the ground. "Jiraiya, you better not be the one to summon me, you damn pervert." Gamabunta, Naruto said as he hopped on Gamabunta's nose. "I have a very injured Konoha shinobi, and I need your fast transportation to Konoha." As a scream came from Yugito, as Gamabunta liked this kid, so he was going to do as he was told. "You got it, kid," he said. "Hold on," as he hopped off. As Naruto went back over towards Sakura and Hinata, as the strange bumps looked like they were cracking. The eggs are hatching. Hinata and I are using our chakra to keep them in a case of sorts. Hopefully that will keep them from hatching until we can get to the hospital. As Naruto had to sit and watch because there was nothing he could do to help, as he turned to see they were coming up on Konoha. As Gamabunta leaped over the gates and landed right in the village. As Naruto quickly jumped through the window to Tsunade and Shizune in shock. "I have Nico, she's badly injured and have some kind of eggs in her. I need you two at the hospital, otherwise she might die." As Naruto was saying that, Hinata and Sakura came in with Yugito, who was still screaming. "Sakura, Hinata, get her to the hospital now," said Tsunade. "Shizune, get the hospital room ready by the time they get there. Let's move, people." As Naruto stopped and took his breath. As he got to the hospital, "Excuse me, can you direct me to the room where Tsunade and Shizune are?" "Of course, Namikaze-sama," the nurse said, as she went through the paper. They went to the emergency room for intense injuries. "Down the hall, take a right. It is the last room." "Thank you," Naruto says he ran down the hall. When he arrived, he saw the red light on, as they were in there trying to help her. Not seeing anything else he can do, Naruto sit down right there, waiting for one of them to come out. Meanwhile, "Sakura, I need to hold her down," said Tsunade, as Sakura held her down as Yugito was screaming the eggs had hatched. What they saw was disgusting. The thing looked like a snake. It had hundreds of tentacles trying to wrap around the woman's nervous system, as this what was causing her to scream out in pain. There were at least 5 of them, as they all had at least hundreds of tentacles from their bodies trying to wrap around her system. As they all get to work, as they start to remove the parasites from her, as the others were watching the vital and giving her fluids to make sure that she was keeping up and stay alive, and giving her blood pills, as she was losing a lot of blood. But if they don't move fast, she might die. 4 hours later, Naruto was still sitting down. It didn't matter that he didn't see her for all those years. She was still one of his precious people. She took care of him when no one did, and he was grateful for her. And yet, he failed. For the past 4.5 years, she has been suffering. She has lost a person that was precious to her, someone she planned on marrying, and he had done nothing to help. He had not even think about her who had protected him, cared for him, and in many ways showed him what it meant to be loved. Even if only it was in a big sister kind of way. In many ways he felt like this was his fault. If only he had sorted her out after the shooting exams. If only he had comforted her. So many things he could have done, but he didn't. It made him feel like a helpless child again. He shook his head. Living in the past is useless. If I focus on what I should have done back then, I would never be able to do what I should do now. As Naruto heard a small beep, he quickly got up and saw Tsunade came out of the room looking exhausted. As he was about to speak, but she raised her hand. She is stable. We managed to fix her up and she will be just fine. However, she will not be waking up anytime soon. As Naruto looked down, as Tsunade saw tears, they were falling onto the ground. As he looked back up, as she saw tears of relief on his face. As Naruto wrapped his arms quickly around Tsunade, who stiffened at the physical contact. "Thank you," he whispered. It was only now that she realized how precious this girl was to him. As she hugged him back. "You're welcome, Brad," she said. As they broke the hug, she was glaring at him. However, "We need to have a long talk," she said. Naruto simply nodded, knowing that his insubordination would not get let off that easily. Moments later, after that I summoned Gamabunta and get my team here as fast as possible, Naruto said, finishing his explanation. Tsunade looked at him with the unreadable look on her face. She was impressed he was able to fight off two powerful shinobis at the same time. However, it was still reckless. "What you did was extremely reckless, Naruto, going up against two S-rank." "A-rank," Naruto said, stopping her. "Sasuke is only an A-rank ninja, at full power, without his cursed seal. With it, he might have given me a bit of trouble, but without it, he cannot do that much. That doesn't make up for the fact that you engaged two powerful shinobi without backup." As she glared at him, but that glare was only to hide what she felt inside, seeing that if something had happened to him on this mission, she could never forgive herself. "I know," Naruto said. "That is why I'm willing to accept any punishment you have to offer." Tsunade sighed as she knew that he did not regret his decision even for a second. "Because of your actions, I'm putting you on a 1-month probation. You will not be able to leave the village. Also, you will be required to do 31 D-rank missions on this probation period." Even though this was a bit harsh, well, for other ninjas, these things were punishable by death. But she couldn't do that to him. "I understand," Naruto said. "Was that all? Or could I go and—" Tsunade waved him off. "You can go and visit her." As Naruto gave her a smile of thanks before disappearing a swirl of leaf. Moments later, Naruto entered Yugito's room. As he pulled up a chair and sat down right beside her bed. As thoughts of Sasuke flashed through his mind, any comradeship or friendship, anything that he might have felt for the Uchiha back then, that was long gone. The fact that Sasuke knew about her torture, well, he didn't participate in it or anything, but the fact that he was there, and those look in his eyes, Naruto could tell that he was long gone. During their next confrontation, Sasuke would die. Painfully, Naruto promised himself that. As Naruto reached out his hand and grabbed her hand. Damn it, Yugito, he thought. He knew what she was doing. She was going on S-rank missions after S-rank missions. She wanted to die. Her friends told him that she lost her entire will after shooting exams, after he died, Hayate. "Never again," Naruto said, as he won't stand by and watch one of the people that he care about suffer. Never again. As Naruto rested his head on her bed, a little later a nurse came by. She was about to wake him up, but she noticed the boy was holding that woman's hand. And the way he was rested, she didn't want to break him out of this. As she noticed, it was Namikaze-sama. The Hokage gave him special permission to stay here because she knew Naruto would want to stay until she's probably woken up. As she turned off the lights and left the room. But guys, it'll be ending this episode right here. If you want the next part of this, I already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn that bell notification to stay posted. And also remember to stay in tune for What If Naruto was a Sasuke King? And what if Naruto was born in the Uzumaki clan? And enjoy, guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you're hearing my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. So yeah, without further ado, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.